Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I'm Amanda, and today we are making 3 delicious crockpot meals. So if you're ready to get started, grab that crockpot and let's get cooking. Today we are making smothered pork chops. So you'll need some pork chops. I just have, this is 4 pork chops right here. I think you can do as many as you want to. These are bone in as well. 1 can of cream of chicken, 1 can of chicken broth, 1 pack of pork gravy, a Lipton onion soup mix, and then my seasonings for my pork chops. I'm just going to add some ranch to it and then black pepper. So in my crock pot here, I'm just going to go ahead and spray it, and then I'm going to add in my cream of chicken, my chicken broth, my onion soup mix, and then my gravy mix, and then get that all mixed up in there. Now I'm just laying out my pork chops on this plate here, and then I'm going to season them very well, both sides, with my ranch seasoning and black pepper. Now I'm just going to go ahead and place these into the crock pot, trying to push them down as well as I can to make sure that all of those juices are covering my pork chops here. I am very aware that I need a bigger crock pot, and that is definitely on the list to get. Now about 30 minutes to an hour before serving, I went ahead and made a slurry here. And I just took some cornstarch and then added in some water, and then I'm going to place it into the crock pot, trying to mix it as well as I can and let it finish cooking for another hour. So now it is all done and it's time to get it plated, and as you can see, it was just literally falling off the bone. It was so tender. This was absolutely delicious. I would recommend using boneless pork chops though, just for the fact that the bones fell off the meat, so you did have to kind of pick them out. But other than that, this was absolutely amazing. And then I just served it with some mashed potatoes. Of course, I added that gravy on top of it and then some green beans. This is definitely one for the cookbook. Today we are making teriyaki chicken. Now usually when I make this, I do make it in the oven, but I decided to make it in the crock pot today. So you'll need about a pound of chicken, and I have like 2 bags here just because we separate them. And then I'm going to probably use 2 bell peppers, 1 red onion. I have a 16-ounce of sliced mushrooms here, any teriyaki sauce that you want. And then we serve ours over jasmine rice, so even easier. We can just pop this in the microwave. I love jasmine rice. So let's get this put in the crock pot. I'm going to start off by spraying my crock pot, and then I'm going to lay the chicken on the bottom. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut my bell peppers up. I do slice them long ways, and then I'm going to cut my red onion as well. And with my red onion, I also just cut it in half and then slice them as thin as I can get them. Now I did wash my mushrooms and then I'm going to layer those on top of everything else and then drizzle on some teriyaki sauce. Now with mine, I am going to cook it on low and slow for 8 hours. You can cook this on high for 4 to 6 hours if that's what you prefer. Now that my chicken's cooked, I'm going to go ahead and get it taken out and I'm going to shred it as well. And then I realized at this time that I totally forgot to even season my chicken. So I just add some garlic powder, onion powder, and then some black pepper. And then I just put it back in there and stir it all together. Now that everything's in there and it's pretty cooked down, I'm going to go ahead and add some more teriyaki sauce in here as well. I do want to save some though, just to drizzle it on top after it is all done. Now, about a half hour to an hour before serving, I went ahead and made a slurry. I don't really measure my slurry. All I do is add in cornstarch and then water, put it in my crock pot, and just mix it up to get to the thickness of my liking of the soup or whatever is in there, and let this finish cooking. Now it's time to get it served up, and like I mentioned, I do use jasmine rice to put with this, and it was so good. I think it was honestly better in the crock pot since it had all day to cook together, all those flavors mixed into each other, and this was absolutely delicious. I do usually dice up the chicken, but I ended up shredding it this time, obviously. I think next time I make it, I will try and dice up the chicken cubes. Tyler likes it better that way, but this was still absolutely delicious. And it's honestly pretty quick and easy if you just go ahead and buy the pre-sliced onions and peppers and stuff. But it maybe took me 20 minutes to get this all put together anyway, so that's pretty easy. But again, this is absolutely delicious and one you definitely have to try. Today we are making stew. So I'm going to use, I got a chuck roast here. I'm going to add in some butter, onion, carrots, some little baby potatoes. I have a stew packet, a brown gravy packet. I'm going to add some ranch and then beef broth. So now I'm just going to take some oil and then season my meat with some of this steak blend by Kinder's, some mixed up salt, and then some crushed pepper. I'm going to season both sides of it, and then I have in my skillet some oil that is warming up on the stove. So once I do this, I'm just going to lay it into my skillet. I will say this step is definitely optional. A lot of people do not brown their roast before putting it into the crock pot, but I have done it both ways where I've browned it and not browned it, and you can definitely tell a difference. I would definitely brown your roast before putting it into your crock pot. But now I'm just going to add in a half stick of butter and then my onions. Get this cooked down a little bit, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of beef broth in here. Try and scrape up all those bits on the bottom, and I'm going to add in my stew seasoning packet, my gravy packet, and then ranch as well. Now I'm just going to take this, lay it over top of my meat that is in the crock pot. I'm going to add in my carrots and my potatoes, and then I did go ahead and add in the rest of my beef broth. I added the other half of that stick of butter, and then I ended up adding in 3 bay leaves. I did forget to mention that in the beginning. And then I'm going to cook this slow and slow for 8 hours. Again, you can cook this on high for 4 to 6 hours if you would like. Now after this cooked for quite a few hours and my meat is done, I'm going to go ahead and take it out, get it shredded up, and then place it back in there. So now about an hour before serving, I made a slurry by using the juice in the crock pot here. I just put it in the fridge, added some cornstarch, and then had my little helper pour it in here and got it all mixed up. This was absolutely delicious. I do like to add in mushrooms to my stew every now and then, but of course my crock pot was so jam-packed I did not have the space for it. But again, this was amazing and definitely one for the cookbook. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I hope to see you in the next one.